Abdeladani, historian, fitness guru, one sexy, charismatic guy. I'm going to try to pump out a video once every 2 months. I know I haven't pumped out too many. I know the ones that I've pumped out, mostly me lifting weights. Not too many hard-hitting topics. Not any that were good, really. So I rushed into it. I'm going to try to study more. Try to get out some topics. Maybe I'll get a following, maybe not. But I need a new hobby. I think this is good. I've got the gym, obviously. Everyone knows I do that. I got, of course, real responsibility. My other hobby, probably Facebook and staying in touch with friends. I consider that a hobby. But I'll never be able to play video games. I don't really want to sit there and watch sports all day. I figure I can do something like this and maybe make good quality videos over time. I'm going to try my best. So, anyway, this first video is about bullying. I was going to go elsewhere, and I started on another topic, but then saw something about this, and it was near and dear to my heart, so let's go. Bullying, definition is imbalance of power. Kids that bully use their power, like their physical strength, their popularity, or access to embarrassing information to embarrass or control or hurt others. Bullying, in order to be bullying, has to happen over time, repetitious over time, or potential to be to have repetitions over time of it happening. And obviously I'm going to be talking about this more as it pertains to kids, even though you can be bullied in the workplace. It's a little bit less now because you have management and other stuff as adults. You kind of like, even though I know it doesn't always go away, but I think most of it happens as a kid. It can happen in the playground in elementary school or in junior high and high school. It can happen at lunch, before and after school, on the bus, before you get on the bus, when in the neighborhood. Those are usually when it happens, when you're outside of adults. We don't report it. I know because and I think it's like this with everybody. I know it's like this with everybody. Just like in my circumstance, you're always afraid to report it because you're afraid the bully's going to pick on you more. It's going to make things worse. And not only is the bully going to pick on you more, it's going to make it worse, but everybody will see you as a snitch. And a lot of times the bully is somebody that other people like follow. So they'll come after you too. So you got it worse from the bully, you got it worse from everybody else because you're seen as a snitch. And that's bad. And that's what's scary. Not only that, but, you know, I just want to throw this out here is, I do know what it's like to be bullied a little bit. I didn't really experience it like some people. You know, I know some people say they did things to me, but I really didn't have it like some people. I didn't have to like fight at school. I didn't get it in the neighborhood constantly. I had a little bit in the class. Not that I'm saying it's right, because I went to school. I know what it's like to have knots in your stomach to go into certain classes. Believe it or not, a lot of people wouldn't maybe believe this, but I wasn't the best athlete. I was just kind of the kid that was always just standing there, not even picked. So I kind of have an idea about that fear. And in certain classrooms, sometimes people pick on you because of the way you look, or you don't have friends, or you're quiet. I had a little bit of that. And there was always like maybe 2 or 3 people that would pick on me in junior high, in high school. And I don't think I have contact with any of these people. Maybe one person from junior high, and this person I knew, he would never really hurt me or anything. Just kind of more like, not saying that I like the teasing, but I kind of have an idea of what it's like. But a lot of times in these cases, you know, I know people that were bullied a lot worse than that had to be physical, that faced it every day, that faced it for years every day. And a lot of times in my day, the teachers, they didn't really do anything, or the people in charge, I was under the impression they do more now, and I think they do. I think with all the stuff that's out in the media, with all the people committing suicide, with all the other stuff happening, I think more is done, but then, you know, I read that it's still going on, that most teachers, they don't do anything. 1 in 4 see nothing wrong with it, and that they'll jump in only 4% of the time. And they always say things like, you know, boys will be boys. Well, you know, it didn't happen in my presence, because a lot of times it doesn't. Sometimes it does. Sorry, I'm messing with the computer here. And so it's kind of hard when you don't see it. And they're like, or if something happens, it's like, well, what do you expect us to do? What did he do? Just tease him? Well, that's what kids do. Did he hit him? Did he punch him? There's nothing we can really do. So there's a lot of times, you know, because the rules are made that they don't see it, or they really can't do anything if it's something small. And none of it's small, you know, no one wants to be picked on. So, and I want to say this too is, people be picked on for a lot of things. They're not athletic. Maybe they like something, they like a certain music that no one likes. Like they like an Iowa style song, or maybe people get picked on a lot because of their weight. I know people that were picked on because they have glasses. I was a skinny kid. I didn't wear glasses then, no. But people get picked on because of a lot of things. I wasn't an athletic kid either, like I said already. And then, let me just say this: I wasn't innocent either. I got picked on, but I also picked on people too. They say 90% of people are picked on from 4th to 8th grade a little bit, and I think a lot of the times kids, they don't want to be the one picked on, and sometimes they'll get picked on a little bit. When someone else comes and they're picked on more, they're happy about it because at least they're not the ones being picked on. But I was pretty rough on some people lesser than me. I was really rough on some kids in the neighborhood that were younger, especially one that went to my church, because I went to church at Methodist church as a kid. And I made this little kid's life miserable, and he hated me, and I think he probably still hates me to this day. He probably still remembers me. I have no contact with him, by the way. But I'm not innocent either, but I learned from what I saw, and I thought it was okay. Not that I'm making excuses, because we all have our own choice. The people that choose to bully you make their own choice. And if you were a bully back in the day and you've changed, and you see the wrongs of your error, I commend you. But we need to teach these new kids. And like I said, I wasn't perfect either. I was bullied, but I did a little bit of it myself. And I wish I could say I'm sorry, but I don't know how it would go. I don't know how I would be received by the people that I did to, especially this one particular person. And maybe this particular person's a big person now, I don't know. But it's just not right. But you see it and you justify it to yourself. The thing is, another reason why this isn't reported a lot, bullies, they're pretty good about making it seem like it's the victim's fault. They're usually smooth talkers. They're usually, a lot of times, sometimes they can be trouble kids, but sometimes they're not. And especially tough when a bully, when everybody's against your kid. You ever heard the thing is, well, maybe you should start, if everybody's against you, maybe you should look at yourself. But this is not always the case with bullying. It's easy to be picked on if you're overweight or something, or if you're new. And just because everybody hates you does not mean that it's necessarily you're the problem in this case. If you're being bullied, then something's wrong, because even if you do something wrong, you don't deserve that. Just because everybody says something doesn't mean it's true. And this is taped after the Super Bowl. I told everybody, I said, you do not know what's going to happen in the game. Everyone said, we already know the outcome. Well, then, if you know the outcome, why play the game? And I heard that before, too, in the NBA Finals 2 years ago, when everybody went against my Cleveland Cavaliers. And I'm like, well, they said the same thing about Miami playing OKC in 2012. Like, well, those teams were evenly matched, but you weren't saying at the time. Everybody was picking OKC. Same thing happened 2 years ago. I said, well, what are you going to do when they do this, Joe, and when they do that? I don't know. We'll see. And I told him, just because everyone saying you don't know the outcome, and I was right. The Eagles won. This is when it's taped, as you can see. Everybody wants to believe the world is flat. Just because everybody says something doesn't mean it's true. How many times have you heard of people being unbeatable? Mike Tyson, Ronda Rousey. Everybody says something does not mean it's true. Does not mean you have to follow the crowd. But a lot of times we as kids, we don't realize that. I'm older now because I see that. And some people my age still don't see it, like I said. But you're like, oh, well, so-and-so's a nerd. So-and-so like this. They deserve to be picked on. Everybody's doing it. It must be right. That's how we think. We've got to get out of that thinking. It's not right just because everybody's doing it. So anyways, kind of went off the edge a little bit here. Let me go back on topic here. Here's some examples. Victoria Lindsay in Florida. She was a 17-year-old girl beat up on video in 2008. She has blurry vision in one eye till this day, I believe. Felt like she had something in her ear, she said, for a long time, but that's gone. But they beat her up bad. She was staying with a friend. I guess she said some stuff online. I don't know what she said. I don't think it could have been that bad. Even if it was, I mean, they called her over. They yelled in her face. As you can see in one part here, one of the girls started beating her up. They argued some more. She asked for a She asked for a phone to go home. A lot of people say she should have left. I mean, she had nowhere to go. I don't know if she should have left or what, but they wouldn't give her a phone, and I couldn't find the video on it. But at some point, 8 of them ganged up on her, beat her up bad, like I mentioned. These girls were facing felony kidnapping, which can carry a life sentence. Felony battery, but dropped down to misdemeanor. It's misdemeanor battery. They only got to serve probation 1 to 3 months or whatever for most of them. So that's something. Tyler Long, in 2009, October 17, 2009, in Georgia, he hung himself because people used to spit in his food, call him gay, hit him. And he had a disease called Asperger's syndrome. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Which is kind of like, I think it's kind of like autism, I read. But he was a little different, I'll admit. He was very rule-oriented. So if someone broke the rules, he would tell him, hey, you can't talk, or and that kind of didn't make him too popular with his peers. And he just couldn't help it. And because of that, he hung himself, because of the bullying that he faced. Ty Field Smalley, or Ty Smalley, is listed as, he died at 11 years old in 2009 in May, or I think May 2010. He was always picked on and bullied because he was smaller. And you see there that one day he stood up for himself and he got suspended. I guess it was too much to take. He got a 3-day suspension, and he killed himself because one time he suspended himself, he got in trouble. And I do know, I used to get that a lot too. It's like, boy, you're skinny. Boy, people think that they can bully you around. I don't really like it when big people throw their weight around, and no one's going to do that to me now. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not. I was like, well, Joe, you're a nice guy. I'm just telling you. I'm not saying that I'm going to throw a punt. I'm just saying you're not going to do that now. I don't care who you are. You're not stepping all over me. A lot of people, I get that a lot. And it's possible to be liked by anybody. Nobody's liked by everybody. Let me just continue. I'm sorry. So his dad went on a crusade. He believed that the first offense, you should get a phone call. The second, you should get a visit. And the third, you should get a fine and go to a stricter school. And I think, we need to put something in place. Now, I want to see what you guys think. I mean, we need to sit down and talk to our kids about bullying. We need to let them know it's not okay. We need to let them know just because someone else is doing it that that doesn't mean it's right. And teach them right from wrong. Teach them that these people are real people that have feelings, that they maybe go home and cry on their pillow, and they're maybe depressed, and they maybe don't eat because of this, and that some people drop out of school because of this. Here's some stats. 90% of 4th through 8th graders report being victims of bullying. I might have said that earlier. 1 in 10 drop out because of bullying. I think I've met a few. 160,000 teens skip school every day because of bullying. I know some people that didn't even want to go to school, and then you end up not doing well in life. You don't finish school. You fall behind on your credits. 3.2 million students are victims of bullying each year. 71% of students report bullying incidents as a problem at their school. So we need to have stricter rules. We need to end bullying. I don't know if you could fully end it, but we need to decrease it. One kid being bullied is one too many. So I want to know what you guys think about this video. What are your ideas? What should be done about bullying? And here are some videos. That's Victoria Lindsay, what she looked like after she got beat up by the 8 girls. Tyler Long, the 16-year-old who committed suicide. And Ty Field Smalley, who also committed suicide at 11 years old.